right, so Kai's video on specific behaviors that I want you to work on. Man, this kid jumps. He jumps when he's excited. He jumps when he's scared. He jumps when he's just not thinking. Like he like springs, like it's his reload. Getting him to focus, getting him to realize, oh, hey, this is how I engage with humans. Truthfully and honestly, there is a part that needs to be mature. There is some maturity that is just time. However, we can encourage this behavior a lot faster and sooner. So part of training that we've been doing, and kind of I'm going to have a behavior theory thing attached to this. So if you watch Cooper's video first, you're going to see it. And if you watch him first, you'll get it. And then you'll see it on Cooper's video too. Hi, good boy. But for him specifically, it's about getting that brain engaged and getting him to go, oh, right, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because he's so joyful, he's so derpy, that it's about, hey, I need you to, you can be joyful and derpy, but I need you, Kai, sit. Yes. Because when you ask him the command, he does it when it's asked. Unlike Cooper will do it. He's learned that that's the default. So he almost comes running to you, sliding into a sit. This kid is like, huh? And his butt's up in the air. And you have to be like, hey, I need to do this. And he's like, oh, right. I would honestly just putting him on belt leash. When you do belt leash with him, it's going to be for focus. It's going to be for paying attention. Now, you can put this on a fanny pack or a belt, but they do make leashes that can be worn, well, like a belt leash. And then there's this little clip. Now you can clip them in a flat collar if you have a martingale collar at home. You can also get a slip collar that has a clip at the end. But I 100% would recommend, just for the next 3 months, is all about getting him to focus, to pay attention when you're not having to pay attention. Because this jumpiness, this goofiness, it's like he's choosing not to think. And at this point, hey, kid, you have to think. Like, we really are getting him to, no, we are going to do this. So when he's attached to you, again, we've talked a little bit about what you're doing. The belt leash at home, you're going to clean the laundry, you're going to do the dishes, but anything that gets him where he has to pay attention to you. Because right now he's just like, the world! Like, he just looks everywhere else but you. Yes. And I almost... if we were doing like a 3-week board and train or a 4-week board and train, I'd almost probably teach him heel. So that way he's like, oh, right, I'm commanded, I'm doing this. Because of how much distractions affect him. But if you can build in your little pieces and parts throughout your day, you're going to get that focus more organically, if that makes sense. So, yes, come on. Good. So putting him on belt leash, big recommendation. You definitely can still do the place and the leave it commands with him. My statement still stands, is with any dog, is have fun torturing them with a positive, healthy way in place or leave it. He struggles when he sees Cooper. Sit. Kai. Come here. Come on. Sit. Place. He struggles when he sees Cooper jumping. He struggles when he sees Cooper sitting on his own place cot. He has like almost FOMO with being his brother. Like, he could be on literally the one side of the training room and his brother can be on the other side, and he's like, oh my God. Good. So can you practice putting both boys on a place command? Start them right next to each other and slowly build them apart, or start apart and then can you get them closer? You can also do that impulse where he's on place and leave it. Ooh, come here. Sit, place. And I just have the leash on the ground and I'm stepping on it. Sit. Good, place. Leave it. Good boy. Leave it. You're going to try to get that, aren't you? Come on, go in place. Good. Leave it.
I'm doing a little voiceover because I forgot to finish the sentence. So doing impulse control with throwing treats in on the ground, and he has to stay on that place command. Now here I had someone interrupt me walking in, so we're going to transition for a hot second, but you can work on these skills.
Hey, so I wanted to film 2 behavior theories behind what we're doing with Kai and Cooper. actually applies to both boys, but the behaviors that we're working on are a little different. So first theory is called an extinction burst. So what happens with this is that these are the behaviors that you're experiencing. It's the barking, it's the pulling, it's some of that reactivity and chompiness that you're realizing, and it's like, whoa, what is this? When we start working on the behaviors, which is kind of where we're at right now, we're right kind of in the middle of this. This is where we're seeing an escalation of behavior. So this is where he's getting worse and it seems like it's getting harder and harder and harder. But what we're really doing is hitting the root cause of this behavior, teaching him how to replace this behavior with something else. It's the active process of copy and paste and repeat and change and edit and modify. So all the training pieces and parts. But then right here is where it bursts. So all of a sudden we're going to have this recovery that happens. So we're going to see a de-escalation of behaviors and de-escalation of something happening. Occasionally, you'll have another little jump in behaviors as we work through it. And then there's this thing where it sharply declines, that's spontaneous recovery. Don't mind misspelling, but this recovery is where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, we really haven't had an issue in forever. Or, hey, that's normally a trigger for us, but it's not triggering us now. This extinction burst life cycle is very common when we're working on any behavior modification. So when it's the higher, bigger behavior modification, it is unpacking the right trigger, the right, it's almost like the higher it is, the deeper the root. Like if there's a root in here, that's what we're working to discover and figure out. And as we pick it apart, work on it, and teach him what to do instead, that's where we see these little jumps, and that's spontaneous recovery is when he fully understands it, and we've really proofed out those behaviors. The other thing that I like to talk about in behavior training is that if we have a core behavior here that we want to get to, don't mind me and my colors, dog training is a little bit like this, where it may feel like it's random chaos or we're doing something that doesn't pertain to, hey, I want this over here. But really what happens, and I'm going to use green as like our mysterious commands, so leave it, place, leash walking, name game, stuff like that. So as we work on skills all over the place, while it might seem like it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it, what's happening is that first week of training, here's our box of skills. And then that second week, oh, hey, our next box of skills got a little bit closer. And then the third week of training got a little bit closer. And then, oh, we kind of got it, but we still had to swing out back at here. The idea is that as it overlaps, it's all overlapping into where we want that expectation behavior, where we want the goal of training to be. We'll get there, but we kind of get it in a random projection. It overlaps on top of each other. It's also kind of like a sandwich analogy, where, if you look at your sandwich, you have two pieces of bread. If you're a big sandwich person, like my husband loves sandwiches, and he loads them up to where it's like cheese and dressings and veggies and then meat and then another round of a different type of cheese and maybe some more veggies and then another type of dressing. And then he has like specialty bread that he uses for sandwiches. As detailed or as simple as your sandwich is, ultimately, you want the meat of the sandwich. But sometimes you can't just go straight for the meat. Having all the things around it help it make the sandwich that much better. Can you tell that I've had lunch today? The idea behind this is truly and honestly, how do we support the behavior, but also how do we develop it to where it's not just, turkey, it is a nice BLT turkey sandwich. In regards to what else goes alongside of it. These are kind of the theories behind it and some fun analogies of how we do dog training, or how our focus on whether it's Kai's teenager and focusing or it's Cooper's barking. Both of these apply. It's just different principles or different reactions that we're working on to shift or change. Let me know if you have any questions and if this makes sense. It's a little more theoretical, but I do like to share this because there's guiding principles of how we get to where we want to go. It's like a protocol of how we get to where we want to go. And sometimes it always feels like we're not making it or we're not getting that big improvement, but really ancillary, and as we progress, we are making improvements. It's just not showing where we're so hyper focused on. So let me know if you have any questions.